Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Krayatsulis. I want to share something with you that's a little silly. You may find it a little quirky, but this short video today is about a tool that I'm using in my eating disorder recovery and my life in general. And it's the acronym WTF. You've heard of WTF, right? You've probably whispered it under your breath or shouted at the top of your lungs. I know I have, and I actually find WTF to come in pretty handy in text messages. Just saying WTF makes me smile. But I'm not using WTF in the way that it's popularly used. I'm using it to stand for what's the feeling. We all have ways that we duck out of life, that we don't feel what we need to feel, because some feelings are painful. They sting, right? Feelings like unhappiness, disappointment, anger, sadness, they hurt. And sometimes to avoid those feelings, we fall into patterns and habits and behaviors that essentially harm us. And they harm us way more than feeling the feeling would harm us. So to stay connected with what I'm feeling in my life, especially since my tendency is to fall back on eating disorder behaviors, I'm trying to keep myself honest by asking, what's the feeling? So when my urge to restrict or use other behaviors comes on strong, I really work hard to pause and say, okay, WTF, what's the feeling? What's the feeling? Usually for me, those urges come on when I'm feeling overwhelmed. And maybe you can relate to that feeling of overwhelm and then wanting to go isolate or use a behavior that you know essentially is harmful to you. Now, what I like about WTF is it's kind of a little bit of a different spin on what I've been hearing, at least for the past 22 years in therapy and treatment. You know, when you go to those places, you do that work, which is essential and so helpful. People are always asking you, what do you feel? What's the feeling? What's the feeling? Why are you using this behavior instead of feeling? You know, these behaviors are covering up the feelings. What's the feeling? The feeling, the feeling. 22 years of hearing that, it just makes me crazy. But we can't avoid the feelings, and we do need to ask ourselves, what's the feeling? So WTF is kind of my silly way of staying honest, staying in touch with myself, checking in with myself. And the more I do that, the less and less I find myself even having urges to use my eating disorder behaviors. And I find that doing this now for several months, if not longer, has helped me to stay honest in new ways. And WTF, why not? You know, even though it's hard work to heal, to change behaviors, hey, if you can come up with a creative way that makes you smile, why not? So I encourage you to ask yourself, WTF, get honest with yourself about those little sneaky ways that you get out of feeling what you need to feel, and bring yourself front and center in your life. Find out what's the feeling, avoid the harmful behaviors, and keep going forward. And little by little, the healing gets some good momentum, and you're more in touch with your feelings. And that can only help you and all of your relationships. So thanks for listening to my silly idea. I hope you like WTF, and I look forward to connecting soon.